What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the TCO Fantasy Football Show. Whoop! I was gonna do a draft combine analysis summary episode today, but there's just way too much stuff going on. We got people getting traded, people signing contracts, people getting franchise tagged. It is insane what is happening right now. And so I'm gonna do for the next 3 days probably, a news and notes episode. Right now, it is Tuesday, March 8th at 2:32 p.m. A lot of stuff is happening, and I'm just going to talk about it. And so let's get right on into it. Alrighty, so first up, we have a man who gambled his career away on Monday. It's Calvin Ridley. It's actually a pretty sad story. He has been suspended for the whole entire 2022-2023 season because he placed a little $1,500 bet on the Falcons, and I don't know the exact details of what actually happened with the bet, but we know that he's suspended. He'll probably try to appeal it. It'll probably get moved back a little because that is a bit of a harsh punishment, but nonetheless, Calvin Ridley is suspended right now for the next year, and this has some serious fantasy implications. Calvin Ridley has already been out for a while. He went out, I think, week 4 or 5, and I had him in 2 leagues. I actually had him in every single one of my leagues. I actually traded for him right before he left. And so this is not the first time we have been burnt by Calvin Ridley. But fantasy implications. So now I think that the Falcons are going to re-sign Russell Gage. I think that makes the most sense for them because who else do they have at receiver? Cordero might re-sign, but nonetheless, Cordero's pretty darn old. And he was falling off a little bit at the end of the season. And he's a running back technically. So they have no wide receiver room besides Russell Gage, Olamide Zaccheaus, something like that. And they need some wide receivers. And so what I think they're going to do is they got that 108. They have that 108 pick. And maybe at 108, they take one of these wide receivers. They take a Garrett Wilson. They take a Drake London. One of these guys that we were talking about. And if they get one of these rookies, that rookie is going to be put into an awesome situation for your fantasy team. And so, Calvin Ridley getting suspended for a year really sucks for Dynasty, sucks for regular fantasy. It's horrible. It's really sad to see because he is a really phenomenal wide receiver. But everything must come to an end, and I think we're going to see some new wide receiver talent in Atlanta, and I am really excited to see if they draft one of my rookies. So Calvin Ridley was really the only scandalous situation that happened over the past couple days. Everybody else was more of a re-signing or a franchise tag or a big trade. And I think the one guy we got to talk about at the top of the signings is Aaron Rodgers. He has finally committed to a team, the Green Bay Packers. They have given him a $200 million contract. $50 million every single year, so it's a 4-year deal. And I think they overpaid. I think Aaron Rodgers bullied the Packers into giving him a contract. But that's besides the point. And it has no fantasy implications, to be quite honest. We still know that Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 QB. I think now that this has happened, I think they'll franchise tag Davante Adams, which means Davante Adams is going to continue to be a top 3, top 5 wide receiver. And A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are both going to remain both low-end RB1s, high-end RB2s, somewhere around that range. And I don't really see any huge fantasy implications. I think the biggest thing that's going to happen, I think they're for sure going to get one of these rookie wide receivers in the draft now. Because I think they're going to want to put somebody next to Davante Adams that has enough talent where the Packers could take another step with that team. And they also want to get some young talent there as well. And one guy that I think this helps a lot, really deep sleeper, Amari Rodgers. I'm a big Amari Rodgers guy, and it helps him a little bit, but I'm kind of excited for him to see what he could do. Maybe he could find a new role in this offense with Aaron Rodgers, and maybe it works out. But no crazy big fantasy implications, and Aaron Rodgers staying in the same jersey. That's it. So there are a lot of signings that we could talk about and franchise tags, and there are a couple of them that we can talk about, that we will talk about in the upcoming days, but we got to talk about this trade. A massive trade just went down in the past hour. I was sitting here writing notes to do this episode, and the trade happened, and I was like, oh my goodness. Do you guys want to know what it is? You already know what it is. It's Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. Crazy. We are going to see Russell Wilson in a blue and orange jersey. Kind of crazy. Well, actually, we might not. He still has a no-trade clause that he has to waive in order for this whole thing to even happen, which hasn't quite happened yet. Wait, it might have just happened. I think it might have just happened, actually. I'm just kidding. I just got an Adam Schefter report. It may have just happened. Not quite sure. It may have, though. But nonetheless, let's get into what the trade actually is. It is the Broncos giving the Seahawks Drew Lock, Noah Fant, 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and a fifth. And I think the Seahawks probably could have got more. I think they could have got more. They got a washed-up young quarterback. They got a washed-up young tight end. I forgot to even say, they got Shelby Harris, too, which that's a pretty good one. I like Shelby Harris. It's good to have another defensive guy. But not worth it, I don't think. I think they got rid of their MVP quarterback for way too little, in my opinion. But nonetheless, the trade has happened, and we got to deal with it. And it has some major fantasy implications. And it really sucks that we had to see Noah Fant go to the Seahawks, because I really wanted to see Noah Fant ball out on the Broncos. But it looks like we're not going to see that. So, we got some crazy stuff going here. We got Javonte Williams, the running backs for the Broncos, maybe Melvin Gordon as well. Those guys are going to go up. You know why? Because now they have a real quarterback. Somebody who can spread the field and get them moving. And the wide receivers, biggest one we got to talk about, Jerry Jeudy. Will we see Jerry Jeudy take that next step that we have been waiting for him to take for so many years? It actually hasn't been that many. I think it's been like 3. But still, that is a lot of years. And we have been waiting for him to take that step, and maybe now is the time for him to do it with Russell Wilson. And all of the pass catches for the Broncos immediately go up, because when you're going from Teddy Bridgewater to Russell Wilson, you go up. And the flip side of that, we got to talk about the Seahawks. The Seahawks have no running back, so they don't get affected at all. But DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett both take major hits. It is really tough for the both of them. DK Metcalf is going to go down, I think, significantly in my rankings. And Tyler Lockett as well, because now he doesn't have that guy to just chuck the ball up to him. And it sucks to see it, but there's new things coming for Seattle. We might even see them move one of these wide receivers for some more young talent that they could possibly build with. And it's a really interesting trade. We're going to see how this goes. Hopefully the Broncos, I think this is what they needed to become that team that goes from here to here. That was all they needed, was a quarterback. They were a quarterback away from a Super Bowl, and we're going to get to see if that actually happens. Alrighty guys, so that's all I got for today's episode. I got a lot more news and notes to talk about, a lot of signings. We got Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, the tight ends. We got some O-linemen. We have plenty of stuff to talk about. We also got to talk about the Combine. I wanted to do an episode today on the Combine, but we got cut short because of all these people. And so another thing I have a startup dynasty draft I want to show you guys that I never got the chance to show you. And we got a lot of content coming, so get excited. Guess what, people? Devontae Adams just got franchise tagged, and so did Chris Godwin just now on the TCO Fantasy Show. Adam Schefter just reported it. Pretty darn crazy. And that's all we got for today's episode. And so we talked about Calvin Ridley getting cut. We talked about Aaron Rodgers getting kept. And we talked about Russell Wilson getting traded. And today was basically a keep, trade, cut episode. And that's all we got. Thank you guys for watching the TCO Fantasy Show. Please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. I'm going to keep putting it here every single episode, even though it's really hard to put there. But I'm going to put it there anyway. It's there. It's gone now. But yeah, follow us on Instagram at the TCO Fantasy Show. And once again, thank you guys for watching the TCO Fantasy Football Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody.